Hello, and thanks for joining the award-winning To Hull Back podcast, proudly sponsored by Old Zoological Bar and Kingfisher in Hull. I'm your host, Nathaniel, and tonight I'm joined by Joe, Tom, and first time on the podcast, Paul. So good evening, guys. How are all of you doing?
Pretty rubbish after, Friday's result, but in terms of the football, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Paul, are you excited to get into the first episode that you've been on? Oh, I'm not sure if
is that start if you can't answer.
You can't answer. I think he's having technical difficulties. Great start, but I'm sure you would have said that he's absolutely raring to go. Can you hear us now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello?
Yeah, we're definitely having some technical difficulties there. I'm just going to ramble on a little bit and let him get that fixed. But yeah, the episode is titled Dry January. Not because, I've got my cider here, so it's certainly not Dry January for me. But
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. But it's been a pretty tough start for the Tigers. No points all year. Joe, thoughts on the disappointing defeat against Norwich on Friday?
Well, it definitely hasn't been a dry January for me. Nathaniel and I were discussing that before. I'm very, very tired. But the football, look, Norwich. It was an odd one for me because yes, you can say the referee's poor to a certain extent, but ultimately you've got to firstly look at yourselves because we dominated in terms of possession large periods of the game, but Norwich had two chances, took them both. We had all this possession, all of these crosses into the box, all of these shooting opportunities. Yes, Angus Gunn made some good saves. Should he have been on the pitch? Debatable. But then you look at, players for them like Shane Duffy. He was brilliant all game, and that kind of thing. So, yeah, a bit of a strange one to dissect, really.
Mm-hmm. Tom, would you agree with that? Because I think we'll just give our brief summations of the game and then launch into the refereeing discussions. But yeah, it was pretty disappointing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just think sometimes we're not positive enough. Like in possession, like we have a lot of the ball, but it's always in areas it's not dangerous. We keep a lot of possession hour and a half, and we don't necessarily press forward. And the times we're looking at most dangerous is when we actually play in that sort of aimless ball up front, sort of where, let's say, Alfie Jones pings one over the top and then we're winning a corner or throwing out the pitch. Other times we're just probing and waiting for the opportunity to come rather than grabbing it ourselves. And there was a point in the second half where Jacob Greaves made a long run from his own half and won a corner. It's just stuff like that I think Rossini has to sort of implement more into our game, just so we're looking more dangerous, because I don't think it was a necessarily bad performance. Like in the first half, we were great, but then the second half we picked up a bit and perhaps they deserve to get at least a point, but it wants to be. But it was obviously a game of fine margins. Like obviously Billy Sharp had that chance, and you expect him to put that away either side of the keeper it's in, and that's usually his bread and butter. And it didn't score, and then obviously with the Conley challenge in the first half, they went unpunished. You're thinking it's not going to be a day like straight away, really. And obviously that's how it turned out. And it was a very frustrating day, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Well, Paul, it's the first time you've come on. Hopefully you're able to hear us now. Do you want to just give us your brief summary of the season so far and how that game fitted into where you think the team is?
So for me personally, I thought it was the better team against Norwich. I thought it was by far the better team. I didn't know how dirty they was. I think they had 3 or 4 yellow cards in the first 20 minutes. And one of them was Shane Duffy. I couldn't believe it. But no, I thought it was the better team. We're just not fast enough in the final third. What we'll do is we'll get the ball out to Twan or to Carvalho or to whoever's playing on the wing, because we don't have a natural winger at the minute for some reason. And we'll go back towards Greaves and then back towards Jones and back to Allsop, and then we'll look for it again. And we're just not fast enough breaking teams down. If teams sit in, we can't do that against them.
Yeah, what I
for some
think as
reason.
well is like teams have started to figure out how to play against us, because what we like to do is
Yeah,
load them into the press. You know, attackers press, and then we sort of play out of that, and then that's how you get the space through the fares. But I think teams are realizing now sort of drop off a little bit and sort of stay compact, and then we find it obviously hard to break them down. And then when they win the ball back, quick in transition, we don't really necessarily have the quick players to sort of deal with that, and especially in the middle currently, like we don't really have that sort of player that, you know, a quick player really. Like obviously Tyler Morton's brilliant and Seri next to him's good, but we don't have that sort of like combative presence that's going to win the ball back, and we're easy to play for really. Like we lose the ball, like that's it. We're so exposed, especially in the fullback area as well. We're really weak. I don't think Coyle had his best game, to be honest, against Norwich, and that's certainly an area that we need to address in the summer, because I don't think we're going to do it in January, even though we do need probably a right back and a left back, if we're being brutally honest. Like Christie's not been good enough this season. Coyle's not, let's be honest, ain't good enough to take us forward if we're looking to finish in the playoffs, so I get promoted. And then on the obviously left-hand side, it's been an issue that's plagued us all season. Greaves having to play there, Vinagra's been injured. It's just been a disaster, like in terms of the recruitment, you know, in the summer. Like it sort of led to this now, like, and it's obviously something that needs addressing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I think before we sort of talk about what's going wrong with the club at the moment with 6 defeats in 9, I'm sure everyone's got opinions on the potential red card, and then in my mind what was a definite red card in Giannoulis's elbow, and then I think a possible third red card, which I'll get onto in a few seconds, but we'll just go around.
Is that Kenny McLean, Nathaniel?
No, I'll keep you guessing for a few minutes, but Paul, the first one,
so
Angus Gunn.
you're gonna ask me with a keeper. See, yes. I think that's a contest. I think it should have been a contested drop ball. If you look at the play, Angus Gunn's only got eyes on the ball, and Connolly has only got eyes on the ball, and they've just clashed together. Unfortunately, Connolly's come off the waist, got concussed, but you know, keepers are protected. You touch a goalkeeper, and it's a free kick all day long. But for me, it's just a contested drop ball on the edge of the area. Obviously, I'm a fan behind the goal. I sit in the north stand and sit on the segregation. I shouted for the red card, obviously, but no, for me it was a contested drop ball. Both all of the eyes was on the ball. No, yeah, that was it. And Connolly come off the waist. It could have been the other way around, and it could have been Angus Gunn concussed, and it'd have been why I want Connolly sent off. You know, it's just unfortunate. Connolly was 5'2" and got absolutely clobbered by a 6'9" goalkeeper.
Yeah, because I think in terms of like obviously Angus Gunn wins the ball first and foremost. Just like the collision is just like it's the impacts that obviously people are looking at there, like how fast it collides into him, and then the fact that a free kick gets wrongly given against us. In my opinion, like I don't know how Connolly. I don't know how they're giving a free kick against us. If like obviously Paul said it should have been probably a drop ball. For, you know, I don't think it was a red card.
I've heard some people say that the reason I've not watched it back. I've not had a chance to watch the full play back to see whether the linesman puts his flag up for offside or not. But some people have said that the linesman, that Connolly was offside, and that's why he gave the free kick. But then that doesn't make any sense to me, because he gave the free kick from where the collision happened.
He gave it a free kick for a foul on the keeper, didn't he? Definitely. It wasn't an offside.
To play devil's advocate to you and Tom, though, Paul. Yes, like I see your argument, but could we not look at it from the angle of, as Gunn jumps, he leads with his knee into chest, elbow into face?
Yeah, I think there's that argument where he's the last one as well, and obviously if Connolly wins that challenge, it's an open goal, and yeah, so I do agree with that side of it. I just think because he wins the ball first, it's probably not a red card, but I see both sides in terms of obviously goes in with his knee as well. So yeah, it's one that I don't think VAR would be able to resolve either. To be honest, like, it's crap as it is.
I don't think VAR would be able to resolve it anyways, even if it was clear and obvious.
It's the same referees who would crap every week for us. Well, for the whole league.
And it'd be worse than the Championship VAR. Referees that aren't even good enough to be on the pitch in the Championship doing it in the VAR room would be disgusting. I would not want that at all. My opinion is that Angus Gunn has come out extremely recklessly, desperate to get the ball coming that far out of his, penalty box. If it was another player, I think what you said, goalkeepers get a lot of protection. If it was another player kneeing anyone in the chest, at the very least, it's a yellow, rather than, but because it's the keeper. But the thing is, if he just jumped and won the ball like a normal defender would, usually defenders don't need people in the chest at corners heading the ball away. So I thought that was a really dangerous challenge, and it was dangerous because Connolly was concussed at the end of it. I don't think the fact that he's taller makes any difference, because Connolly did not lead with his, he didn't have his studs up like anything. So I thought that was awful. And I don't think anyone's complaining that, whether it's a yellow card, red card, whatever, but the fact that the referee's given the foul the other way is absurd. Because, the Morton one last week, the referee gave that. He won the ball cleanly. Winning the ball in that situation, I don't think is part of the complexion of it.
There's no consistency, is there, in terms of the referee? And I think that's the problem across most of the divisions. There's not that consistency. I think it varies from referee to referee how they perceive it. It's always how the human perceives it, and that's how you get the difference in decisions, really.
Mm-hmm. And then the Giannoulis one where he's standing, he's not even using his elbow to leverage a jump. He's seen where Connolly is. Coyle elbowed him in the head. Linesman's right there. The referee sees it, thinks it's a foul, doesn't give a red card, even though elbow to the face on purpose is always a red. That's probably the worst decision out of the two. I assume no one disagrees with that one.
Yeah, it's definitely I've not seen it back, but it's definitely a red card. Yeah, I think if you lead with your elbow, it's you put yourself under that risk, and we've been unfortunate not to be playing against 10 men, but not 1 hour night, was it?
Yeah. Having watched it back, Michael Dawson made the point on Sky Punditry that Louis Coyle is very lucky he slips.
Mm.
He loses his footing very slightly if you watch the replay, and he sort of ducks down a little bit. And then as he ducks down, that's when the elbow hits, and that's why he has the mark on his forehead and not right on his nose. Mm. We know what Louis has been like with broken noses.
You can only break your nose once, though.
Right.
The harm's already done in that regard. But,
definite red.
Mm-hmm. Now, can anyone guess what the third red card I might be talking about might be? It's on one of our own players.
Two-fan diving.
Yes, two-fan dives.
In the second.
The second one in the penalty box, I think that's a yellow. But the thing is, if the referee hadn't booked Slater for a dive allegedly outside the box, you could say, okay, well, he's only going to book a player if they dive in the box. But he booked Slater outside the box. Two-fan had dived before in the first half, I think. The ref doesn't give that as a foul. So Two-fan, and of course, you'd like to think that he wouldn't be diving in the second half if he was already on a yellow. But I think 2 rubbish dives from him. But then the Slater one, where he's booked for diving, that's ridiculous, because even though it's not a foul, Slater's just trying to jump out of the way of the Norwich player who's won the ball. So how he can give that as a dive when he's just trying to protect himself is another absurd decision. But James is saying, never seen you so angry, Nathaniel. These refs have a lot to answer for. I'm looking forward to whatever happens in the first half an hour against Sunderland on Sky when we're, get an offside goal given or something. Not looking forward to that. But I think who was at the match? Who went to the game?
Oh, I did, yeah.
I did.
All of us, yeah. Who stayed to see the Mawson goal? Because I'd had enough by then. I didn't see it.
I left it the second they scored the second goal.
Yeah.
I mean,
I stayed.
Yeah, because of course, if we'd got a second goal, I would have looked very stupid. But very nice goal from Mawson.
What was bad though? Like I literally was like praying that we weren't going to equal. Well, obviously I wanted us to, but like when I'm walking back and I'm just hearing the fans, like when you just hear that roar and you're thinking, oh no, like are we on the attack? We're about to score, but yeah, we didn't end up equalising. But yeah,
it's just more frustrating that we'd score when it doesn't matter. When we had all the time before.
The 20 minutes before, it's a different game.
I think it's a lovely goal, but the Norwich defence completely stands off him. I'm not sure they'd do that if it was still one goal ahead, perhaps, in the last few minutes.
In the same way that we just totally backed off Jonathan Rowe for their first goal, it's a great bit of footwork and technical play by him to beat a couple of our players and stuff like that. But all the time we're just backing off until all of a sudden he's in space to shoot and there's nothing we can do.
About like 70% of the goals we've conceded in the last few games, the two against Bristol, one against Sheffield Wednesday, the Jack Clark goal, that goal, we just back off them. We let them run into a goal scoring chance and then they score. It'd be nice if they didn't score their one chance or two chances of the game, like we do. But we just need to, someone's commented in that we need a new Ian Ashby. We need someone like that in to put some tackles in because we don't really have anyone like that. Is that something we need?
Yeah, I said it. I was sort of banging on the door for us to sign someone like that, just like a combative midfielder, because it's all right having the technical players, but I've said like throughout the season we are lightweight in terms of the height and physicality we've got in our squad, even in the forward areas, apart from THAB. We don't really have them the players in terms of height, and I think you need that to sort of push on and get into the playoffs. I think you need that sort of physical player in there that can grab the game by the scruff of the neck and fly into tackles. I think we're quite a nice team, which I'd rather us be a nasty team, to be honest, like in terms of flying into tackles. But yeah.
I mean, speaking of sort of being a nasty team, I think at the moment with the way we play, I mean, I was joking to my friends before the match, just as we'd seen in the Birmingham game, the routine we have pretty much every home game, unless we score first, as we did against Rotherham and Blackburn, is we sort of start poorly. The other team scores one of their only two chances, just like Jukovic did and Rowe. And then we dominate the rest of the half. There's a red card. There should have been against Norwich. We scrape a goal on the 80th minute, and then the other team dominates the rest of the 10 minutes, even though we've gone 1-0 up, or we made it 1-1. The only difference this time being that Norwich scored before we scored. And it's like sometimes we put on the exact same performance at home. How many times can we play like this, where we dominate the ball and have all these chances, but not win the game before you think, well, something has to change?
I don't even think we create a great deal like clear-cut opportunities there. Like obviously there was the sharp one, but apart from that, I can't really remember how many other chances we had. Like where we're in the box, we've got a good opportunity. I think there's times where we're on the edge of the box and we don't put a cross in or we don't go for goal.
It's more like third
half sort of chances.
Third chances where you sort of enter into the box, but then they have the opportunity to score, but they never do.
It's like Twine. Like I thought he had quite a good game, like cutting in. He had that chance in the first half where he cut in and had a shot. And it's one of them where it goes agonisingly wide of the post. But yeah, it's quite frustrating. Like I was
quite disappointed that we took Twine off, to be fair.
Yeah,
I'd have took Tofan off and moved. I'd have took Tofan off and moved Twine into the 10.
And I'd have brought someone more effective than Jason Lakilo for Twine if we're going to bring Twine off.
Go and have a rant, Joe. Have a rant.
I just think.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'll put Lakilo on the transfer list and I'll drive him to wherever you want him to go to.
Back to Istanbul.
He's the worst. I'll drive him. I'll drive him for free. He doesn't even have to pay me. How he classes himself as a winger is he don't even beat a man.
See, when we first...
man, he's the most predictable footballer ever. Every time he gets the ball, gets on his left foot, chops back, passes it back, or just loses the ball like he did countless times against Norwich.
You get him, like when I first watched him against like Doncaster and in games like that, and you first see him get the ball at his feet, and you think, all right, he might have something about him here because his close control is quite good, his first touch is quite decent, but then it gets to putting a cross in or trying to get a shot off or beating a man, and it just doesn't happen. I honestly don't think I've seen him beat a man once this season in the 18, 19 games he's played.
I mean, I saw him. Him against Birmingham, he was on for 70 minutes and 20 minutes against Norwich. Saw both games, and he didn't. I think he tried to beat his man like 3 times in that 90-minute spell. And I mean, Greaves playing at centre back, not even left back, beat his man more than Lakilo did in the last 2 games combined. And the first thing Vaughan did, he didn't get past his man, but the first thing Vaughan did, like the first touch after coming off the bench, was kick the ball past the fullback and try and beat him. Whereas Lakilo, it just too scared to even try. And I think his confidence is completely gone. And he wouldn't have been that good a player to begin with.
I look at the signing there, like, and at the time you're thinking perhaps it's a risk that could pay off. I mean, it won't really a risk because I think we signed him on a free transfer anyway, always a nominal fee. But you look at his career so far, I think he got released by Doncaster having played like 1 or 2 games or something. And then he went to, I think, Belgium. Did okay, I think, and then obviously he's come here, but it's not a signing that makes you excited, and it's the fact that obviously with injuries having to rely on him coming off the bench as well as Vaughan as well. Whereas obviously Norwich can bring like Onel and Anders off the bench, who I would happily take at City, like far better player. It's just obviously the position we find ourselves in with injuries, like we're having to rely on these players, and they're not good enough, are they, if we're wanting to get playoffs, if we're being brutally honest. And obviously Lakilo has been a bit of a disaster signing, really, and it's just frustrating.
And then Aliar's going to go out on loan, isn't he? We're going to move Cynic on as well, so we definitely at least
need 2.
We need to at least 1 in the 2 weeks that are left.
Scott Twine could be leaving as well. If I saw that news, I don't know how true it is, but if Burnley call him back, I think Bristol City want him because he'd be working under his manager that he worked with at MK Dons, obviously Liam Manning. So there's a possibility that he could leave, but I doubt Rossini would sanction that. And I don't know if they'd had a choice if Burnley obviously recall him, but I think they only have like 24 hours to do it anyway. So yeah. But again, he's not like a natural winger as well. Like you associate him as like a number 10 sort of second striker that sort of plays just behind a striker, and he's having to play all on the left, and he's not really got the pace to beat a man. He's technically decent, but I think obviously that's why we're missing Philogene, someone that can take a man on, and individual. I think we've relied on individual displays a lot this season, like Philogene and Delap, and now they're out the team. There's not really anyone else in the team that can produce that magic, and that's where we're struggling really, because I think obviously remember the Birmingham game away, we're playing particularly well, and then obviously Philogene comes up with that moment of brilliance, and then it changes out the complexion completely. Obviously against Preston he scores that wonderful solo goal as well, so it's been a huge miss, but you can't just sort of rely off one player. It's got to be a squad, and unfortunately some of our players are letting us down.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think more than a few is letting us down, to be fair.
Yeah, they are.
I think
it has as a whole been a really, really positive season, hasn't it? But now we're stuck in this bit of a rut where we've won, once in 5, once in 6, and
once in 5.
Yeah, and the injuries are piling up, and we can still, dominate games like we did against Norwich, like we did against Birmingham after they'd scored, but then it's finishing chances off, and that's what we're missing without Delap on the pitch. And then I think I was looking at the game whilst I was watching. I thought this game would be different with Delap, because he's like, and with Connolly as well, to be fair, because for as good a poacher as Billy Sharp might turn out to be for us, he's not overly tall, he's not overly quick.
is he? He's not
Yeah.
mobile.
He
He's
wouldn't have
not-
been fully fit.
He's not physical enough, and the thing you wouldn't have expected to have to call upon Billy Sharp to play 85, 80 minutes or whatever it was. And
Different type of striker as well, like the what we used to. Like we're used to that fluid striker where peels off into wide areas. Like Connolly loves to drift out to the left flank and pick up the ball and cause defenders problems. He ain't got the pace to get behind. He ain't got the pace or the strength to hold off a man. He's just a percher in the box. Obviously, like I said, his chance that he had that he didn't take, and I know you can't like scrutinise the striker for missing one chance, but yeah, it's just that's what he's been brought in to take. If you know what I mean, like them chances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the whole point he's been brought in for was, I feel like, to support and nurture THAB and Connolly, these young strikers, but that doesn't really work if those two aren't on the pitch or aren't fit. And I'm not fully sure Connolly will be able to play against Sunderland. I'm not sure what the concussion protocols are.
I think he'll be all right for Sunderland, but not for Birmingham.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, this is definitely one of the worst weeks injury-wise where we wouldn't want a replay, an FA Cup replay. We were, dreading it last week, dreading it even more now. That, I mean, it'll be a good opportunity for an academy player to play up front, because I'm sure Billy Sharp at 37 is not going to start 3 games in a week, because I assume he'd play.
Give that young lad Sellers a go.
Well, it will.
Absolutely.
If it's going to be an academy lad, it's going to have to be Sellers Fleming, because Sandat and Sims have just gone out on loan. And
Gone out on loan, haven't they? Yeah.
As well as Ronnie Kelly's playing at the minute for the 18s, he's not just going to throw Ronnie Kelly in.
No, it'll be Fleming, because he's played twice already, hasn't he? So,
by the way,
or you just play, or you just do what we did last season, just throw a Tufan up there, just a Tufan as a striker.
Well, we've got a lot of number 10s, to be fair.
I'd say obviously towards the end of last season, Trier and Tufan looks decent up front, if we're being honest, and I'd throw one of them up there. I mean, maybe Tufan. He's actually.
Yeah, I think Tufan wants to be a number 9 at the minute for some reason.
He's good. The thing is with Tufan, like when he gets a chance, he normally finishes it. Like when he gets in front of goal, like he's so composed and he's a great finisher of the ball. So I'd back him to play a striker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he can do that. I mean, mind you, he scored 2 goals as a striker at Sunderland last year. So
exactly, yeah. Maybe it'll work in our favour. We sort of him dropping off. Maybe hopefully we're seeing obviously pushing the wingers in behind, and we don't have any wingers, but whoever plays on the flank,
Mm-hmm. Well, we did sign Fabio Carvalho in midweek, which I think is a fantastic signing. We saw glimpses of his quality, maybe no end product, but no one really had any end product, and that was his first game. And I think usually we sort of bed in signings quite slowly, but Philogene and Carvalho, when we sign them, they come straight into the starting 11. So what did we make of Carvalho's debut? Obviously not amazing, but hopefully signs of something to come.
Yeah, I think with Carvalho, he likes to sort of feed off strikers, and at the minute we really have a proper striker that he can feed off. But obviously we saw a really good glimpse of his dribbling ability. Like he's great at taking the ball in tight areas and manipulating the ball as well, like as a number 10. And he's going to be a good asset for us. Like obviously once we've got most of our squad fully fit. But yeah, we did see glimpses, and I like the look of him. Like he's definitely what we need in that number 10. He's nimble. He's got great footwork, so hopefully he can be a success.
Can you believe we signed another number 10 there? Got so many of them.
Yeah,
I think we need a winger, and if Twine left, Carvalho should be an upgrade. But yeah, it's a bit strange that we'd sort of prioritize.
I'm just hoping this keeper comes in. Like
he was at the game the other day. That'll be.
I'd like to just complain for sort of 20 seconds. A lot of our fans are I'm impatient, but I'm not impatient when, Panda has actually been, photographed at the match on Friday. People are saying, what's happened with the Panda deal? The last time we signed someone on a weekend was like 1930. We never announced players on the weekend.
Is that true?
No, the last time we signed a player, I think Philogene counts because it was deadline day, but that's sort of different. But the poor social media people aren't going to go and work on a weekend.
I said this earlier in
the match
window. Because we've got so many games this month, we've got a game every week, and then this week we've got 2. If a deal is done, it will be announced as soon as it is done, so that they can play in these games. So it's not like the summer where it's pre-season, so if there's a week between the game, they can just sit on it for a week. This is proper competitive action. So as soon as it's done, it will get announced. There's no need to do all the hashtag announce Carvalho, admin announce whoever.
There never is.
Yeah, there's never any need. But
it's fun.
It's funny. But as soon as a deal is done in this window, it's gonna get announced just because of the way the games are structured.
Mm-hmm. So it's the 14th of January, and we've still not been officially linked to a defender. I'm sure we are. We are after a left back, I think, maybe a right back. But that, I think, now that we've got Carvalho in, who can play on the wing, and then hopefully the goalkeeper, I think that's really the next priority. And I think we might have to be patient for Benson or Zaruri from Burnley, possibly. Give me 30 seconds and I will find the name of one player that maybe or maybe not that we're in for.
Is it a left back?
Kane Kessler-Hayden, who is a right wing back who was at Plymouth. I saw a tweet that he'd been recalled by Aston Villa. We have a pretty good relationship with Aston Villa. The Villa journalist said that it's quite likely that he'll be sold with a buyback clause, just like Philogene. So you might sign him, but it's pretty worrying that there doesn't seem to be a lot of buzz around signing a fullback, whereas there was for goalkeepers. So are there any names anyone would like to throw out? I've seen Luke Thomas linked a lot.
Luke Thomas, I'd 100% say Luke Thomas, but I don't think we'd get him. Obviously, he's on loan in the Premier League. Leicester recalled him. Well, no, he got sent back by Sheffield United when Chris Wilder came in. But he's like an attacking left back, and he's obviously similar in the mold to Vinagre, really, where he likes to get forward. So I won't be against that. But also in terms of defensively, we need someone that's strong because we've had obviously problems all season with our left back and right back struggling in 1v1s, I guess. Like Louis Cole's decent, but like I said, he's not the guy to take us forward. And on the left, we've had to rely on like Greaves to play there when you'd rather have him centrally. So yeah.
I think Louis Coyle's had a good season this year. I thought last year it was a bit. I thought last year was a bit in and out, hit and miss with his form, but I think this year he's up there for one of the right backs of the season. To be fair, so I think this season I think he's the man to go forward for the right back. I think we definitely need a left back, and if we've signed Carvalho to play as a number 10, I think we need another winger, and I think we need to go try and find a goal scorer from somewhere. I don't know what. Yeah. Well, it could turn into another shorter transfer window. Do you panic buy and bring players in, or do you try and bring the right players in? But who are the right players going to be?
The disrespect. Ian Walsh there calling him a panic buy, unbelievable.
When he hit the post against us and Shota thought, oh, I'll have him.
Shota thought he can take a free
that's
kick.
Saying it. I know what I'll do is I'll sign 25 attacking players and it can only play 10.
Yeah, we are. So, like I said, we are like sort of suffering for our sort of poor transfer window, if we're being honest. Like obviously Morton Delap have been brilliant, but aside from that, we've not really strengthened in the areas we've needed. Like obviously it was there was that Cox that was going to bring in at left back. Instead we get James Fairlong, he's not played. Obviously we've had to play Greaves there. Vinagre's been injured, so that area is just really plagued us all season. And we have to resolve it this month if we want to get playoffs. In my opinion anyway.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything to mention about the Norwich game, or should we just sort of talk about how we're going to approach the cup? Which, I mean, I've written here controversially, throw the cup? Question mark.
I agree. Final thing from the Norwich game, I saw a debate on Twitter yesterday. Should Allsop have done better with the first goal? What do we think? I think it's just up for debate. It's a P roller, but it's
but the second goal, it was in no man's land. It was keeper's ball all day long. The second goal. If you look at the area it got put into, there's a big, massive gap where he should have been coming out to claim that ball in that second. The header? It should have been straight out in that gap. It shouldn't have even reached the back post. Keeper's ball all day long, and then everyone flooded for the fire exits. That was it. That was, that sounds like what Yulfrey did at the back of the net, and Yulfrey was straight out.
No, I stayed to the. I
stayed. Saw that. Hold on. Just these two then. Running for the fire exits. Beating traffic home and all that.
Yeah, I've never left a game early before. I've only left because it was like 10 o'clock.
I left the Sheffield Wednesday game on like the 60th minute because I had to catch a tram. Otherwise, it was an hour walk. So there was a good excuse for that. And loads of City fans left anyway. It was pissing it down, so I was like, I'm leaving.
Oh, for some reason, I thought you meant the one we were winning 4-2 at the start of the season. No, of course.
No.
The
recent New Year's Day when I think went 2-0 down.
No trams in all. No trams in all.
No. Good point. Good point. Well said. So James has commented here, recruitment has overall been poor since the takeover. I mean, that first window, which is panic buys, I think because we've signed so many players, I mean, a lot of them have been really good. There have been some really good signings, and some of them have been dreadful. I think because we've signed so many, there are definitely going to be some bad players in there and some good players in there. I think generally, though, it's very difficult because to compete with, I think we've done well to compete with the transfers that the teams coming down from the Premier League has made, because a lot of them have been very good. So I'm not sure it's been poor. Some of them have been, but I'm not sure I'd put that. I think that's a bit of a generalisation.
See, for me, that first transfer window with Adjan as the chairman, I think was a sign of I'm not the Allens. I'm not scared to spend my cash. This is what I'm prepared to do. I'm prepared to go out and buy the players that
just flexing money. It was just flexing. I mean, in terms of the signs like Christie,
very good
signings,
team. So yes, there was a couple of good buys in there, and that was it. It was showing what he could do, wasn't he? That's exactly what he done. He was showing what he could do. Like I'll go sign these players in Turkey, and we've never heard of them before, but. I think Rosenior needs another 3 transfer windows before we can think about Premier League and playoffs. I know we're only a point off the playoffs, and it sounds amazing. And everyone's expectation now is to get in the playoffs and do this and do that. But with Villagine getting injured, Delap's out till the playoffs. He's out for 3 months. If he needs surgery on his knee, then he's out. His campaign's done. Connolly, if he gets stamped on his toe, he goes down. And he's now concussed for a week. We're missing Seri. I see a lot of people slating Seri, and it just shows you how much of a little it's unbelievable. I don't get how you can rate him. He's a right little general in there for us. Like he always picks it. Sometimes he might pick the wrong pass, but it's always the right pass if it gets there.
He's the one that splits the midfield.
He's the one who gets the ball and finds the wings instantly, and he just says attack. I'll sit. You go. If we get broke, I'm here. I'll cover.
Morton's really good on the ball, but he's not as commanding in terms of he sort of obviously when Seri's in the team, he fetches the ball off the defence and sort of commands it in there. Whereas Morton, obviously, he's more of the energetic sort of one next to him. And obviously, Morton can pick a ball, as we've seen, but I think we're missing Seri's sort of experience in there as well. But yeah, his ability to find them passes. Yeah, yes, he often gets caught on the ball in obviously dangerous areas, but you expect that in terms of obviously the system we play, the style, that we are going to get caught sometimes in these areas. And but obviously Seri Morton makes up for that when he's picking them balls.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Well, on a slightly more positive note, I'd like to comment or say that Ian's commented that he loved the rendition of I the Tiger, Under the Lights, with a sort of, light show. That was a nice remix. If anyone wants to know what that was, it was by, I've already forgotten, Joseph William Morgan. I've listened to that, so it was nice music before the horror show of the match started. So yeah, the cup. I mean, I was up for a cup run. I was looking forward to that. Beat Birmingham at home, get Maidstone. That'd be fun. But no, we're playing Birmingham twice, and then the next match would be against Leicester away from home. Of course, we are one of the few teams to have beaten Leicester, especially at the end of the season. But I think, to be honest, I'd like the team to have that weekend against Leicester off to recuperate and not get slaughtered 5-0. So I wouldn't, you actually can't throw a game, but I would let some of the academy players Furlong,
scoring a couple of goals, then just forfeit the match like FIFA.
I think we would get banned permanently if we did that from every FA competition, but play some of the academy players. Yeah,
it's more important. Obviously, the Sunderland match on Friday night is massive. But to be fair, obviously I write about Sunderland for my job, and the sort of the fans are happy with Michael Beale, like the football they're playing. Obviously, they sacked Mowbray when they was just on the brink of the playoffs that they are now, and they're the fans that believe that he's obviously the right man to take them forward. After we linked to Will Still, these high profile managers, they're not happy already, and apparently watching the football has sort of drained the life out of the club in terms of how they feel. Obviously under Mowbray, they really liked him, and now they feel like they've gone backwards. So when you sort of hear negativity like that, you think that you can sort of go there and you sort of have a chance. But given obviously the mini injury crisis we find ourselves in and the poor slump in form, it's still going to be a very difficult game, especially when you come against the Jack Clark and obviously Dan Neil and Joby Bellingham are really good technical players like we saw on Boxing Day. So obviously it's going to be a tough game, but I guess we can go there and hopefully get a win, but it's going to be tough.
I think Birmingham will probably be playing at the weekend rather than Friday. First game at home. He's going to want to play a strong team, Mowbray, to understand what his team's like. We're not going to play a strong team. The only possible result I can realistically see is a Birmingham win, probably 2-0. What's everyone else's prediction for the cup game?
I agree, 2-0.
I'll go 2-1 to Birmingham.
Mm-hmm. Vaughan getting a cheeky goal, perhaps?
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Yeah. Paul?
I don't actually know, really, because I don't think Rosinia likes to lose. So I don't think he's going to throw the cup, unfortunately. I don't know what you've all just been saying because my phone decided to be funny and go off. But yeah, no, I've got a feeling we're going to beat Birmingham at Birmingham. I don't know why. I've just got that feeling we're going to beat it. We've already done it this season. We've already beat him there. I don't know. I've just got a sneaky feeling we're going to do Birmingham at Birmingham for some reason.
Obviously, I want us to win every game we play, but I'm not sure I've ever been so not happy to have won a game, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not bothered about the FA Cup replay, and I'm not bothered about the FA Cup at all now. If it was a different team beginning with L that we'd been drawn in the next round, like, for example, Liverpool, I'd think, all right, let's go and beat Birmingham now. Let's have a big day out at Anfield. But that's it. It's not. I don't care. I'm gonna go and watch the under-18s at the stadium instead in the FA Youth Cup.
So I'll
That sounds
probably go
good.
watch that.
Yeah. So
I'd
then the
like to
next
have I'd like to have had a big away day, but the prize of beating Birmingham's only Leicester away, innit? You know.
We've already had that this season.
And do we want another? Do we want another trip to Leicester? You know.
So it's like, I don't know if they'd play a sort of second string. Well, I say second string there. Second string team probably would still push for the playoffs in this division, to be honest. But yeah, they probably will play a weakened team. But like I said, they're like, it's still going to be a very tough game. So yeah.
So the game after that is 7th place Sunderland. Going to be another difficult game. They're just above us in the table. They dropped out of the playoffs, but either team will be very amped up for the game early in the week or in the weekend. Whoever wins will at least be in the playoff after the match. I mean, I worry about if it is Sharp up front. I think the plan wasn't to have him starting so soon and essentially starting the Norwich game with the amount of minutes he played. And I wouldn't have been surprised if he'd come off after 60, 70, 80 minutes, to be honest, because I'm sure maximum 60 minutes was probably maybe all he could have done. But I think it's going to be extremely tough. Not looking forward to Jack Clark playing against us again so soon. Again, not really sure anything else.
Just don't let. All we've got to do is show Jack Clark on his left foot,
which Louis Boyle did.
Then Christie came on and let him just have the freedom of the MKM.
Yeah, just Christie let him cut inside for some reason. I don't. Jack Clark's thing is run down the wing as fast as he can, cut inside on his right foot and blast it in the bottom corner. Yeah. That's Jack Clark every week. And
that's why I think,
we finally.
Yeah. That's why I think if he went to the Prem, he'd probably struggle a bit more, because he obviously not only is against much better defenders, but players already know what he's going to do. So he'd have to switch up his game a little bit, I think, and become a different player. But
yeah. See, I never want our players to be injured. And Shep's put there, Christie's injured, so he can't do that again. I'd rather Christie was fully fit, but just not playing, But I guess that is a tiny silver lining. But I don't really see anything other than a Sunderland win. But then again, so odds on what the awful refereeing error is going to be on, in the first sort of 30 minutes again. I think it could be Connolly is about a mile, or Connolly, one of our players is onside, scores, given offside. I think that's going to happen. Joe, thoughts?
I'm going.
The ref's going to score for Sunderland, maybe.
I'm going to go for a lot of dubious fouls. So it might be sort of breathing on the opponent, for example. Jacob Greaves gasping for air after a long sprint or something like that, accidentally breathes on Bellingham, and then
COVID or something.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's free kick, Greavesy in the book, that kind of thing. I think there'll be a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. Tom?
Who the referee is, actually? I'll have a look.
It won't matter. They'll be awful.
I reckon Jack Clark's going to dive, and the referee's not going to see it. He's going to give a free kick, and they're going to score from it.
Yeah. Paul?
Man's going to be.
Oh, I think he's cut out. I'm sure whatever he was saying was brilliant.
Can you hear me now?
Say it again. Say it again.
So my headphones have died. So I'll say it again. The beach ball's gonna come back.
Yeah. And then Darren Bent is gonna score as well. He's gonna come off.
It'll be Jack Clark.
Yeah. Brilliant. So there's no combined lineup this week because I think that's just too fun a thing, and I'm feeling depressed at the moment with City, so I haven't been bothered to make it. So I guess we can just launch straight into Our predictions are Will. I'll imitate Will for a moment as he's not on. 3-0 City. Joe, prediction?
1-1.
1-1.
Yeah.
Whew, blimey, really pushing the boat out there. Total optimist. Tom?
I think the thing is that Michael Beale, Sunderland haven't been as good. I think they've got
The beat us.
Yeah, well, they've taken 2 wins from 5. I know they beat us, but I still think we'll lose. To be honest, 1-0 to Sunderland.
Yeah, Paul.
I don't really want to say, man.
I think you have to. You have to be included in the guest leaderboard.
4-0 Sunderland.
Oh my!
Wow.
Yeah, but we're laughing, but it won't surprise me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think we're going to have one of them days. I think we're going to be playing against 14 men, and yeah, I can just see us getting absolutely annihilated, and that's season over for us.
Let me just do the maths on that. No, it'll be the referee, the beach ball, and Darren Bent. That's up to 14, isn't it?
That Darren Bent's coming out of retirement to do us over.
Darren Bent. What a player.
I've just remembered the beach ball goal now. It's just brilliant. Lovely stuff. But yeah, would it be
even better? It happened against Liverpool.
Yeah. Well, I've been predicting 5-0 City every time. I think, yeah, you know what? I mean, I can't change my mind, so I think I am going to go 5-0 to Sunderland this time. And hopefully, reverse psychology, we might only lose 4-0.
That's what I say every single time I predict us to lose.
Yeah. 5-0 Sunderland, yeah. Why not? I've given up with the leaderboard. I'm below Will, who's had the same thing all season. So I've lost all hope.
Below. It's, at least you're not me.
Yeah. So that's another positive thing we can mention. Harry Wood, a minute into his Grimsby debut on loan, scored equaliser. Great goal and a 5-5 draw for Grimsby. So recall him.
What a goal that was.
Cracking slip pulled off as a getting down on the floor to do the worm as a celebration as well.
That was class.
Great celebration.
I saw it come up on Soccer Saturday. And
as good as that Felipe.
I went absolutely wild. Saw Harry Wood's name pop up, and I was very pleased. Very pleased.
James has just commented in, this episode has made me want to go cry in a corner. And I hope you feel the same
happy to
every episode. That's the idea. So at least we haven't, I don't think we've told anyone to commit crimes on this podcast.
Yeah, the last outro was quite simple.
Because you said in the chat about, obviously I wasn't there for the episode, but you said in the chat about still recovering from the last 10. I think it was Joe said he's still recovering. So I had to watch the last 10 minutes. I was thinking, what is going on here? Well, it just turned into like this one football no more. It was just one about crimes.
Still advocating for shoplifting.
Yeah.
Paul, what's your favourite crime?
My favourite crime? Wow.
Yeah, to pick one.
Wow. There could be a few.
Oh, that might be the worst possible answer you could give. One's not enough for Paul. Go big or go home, innit? Do you know what I mean? Wow.
Oh,
favorite
you
crime.
don't have to pick one. You don't have to pick one.
Are you sure?
I'm
I'll get my list out. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. We should make this a
regular segment.
Just a question for every single guest. What's your favorite crime?
What's your favorite crime? Yeah.
If you could commit any crime, which crime would you commit?
Yeah.
I answering first.
No. Okay. Well, before we talk about crime, more than we already have, I reckon time to wrap this up. But Paul, thank you very much for coming on. Apologies
You're
for your
welcome.
technical difficulties. You can
Oh,
certainly come back on.
His phone's died. His earphones have
I've
died.
had a right back. Oh, my earphones are gone and everything. I've got my kids. Look at them. Look at them viewers. Gone and got my kids' earphones on. They don't even get onto my ears.
I'm glad it's taken the attention away from my fumbles, though. So
you're welcome. It's what I'm here for.
Thank you. And Tom and Joe, exceptional work as always. And thanks to everyone who's commented, liked, hit that subscribe button on YouTube or wherever you're listening or watching from. And we'll be back next week after 5-0 defeat at Birmingham and 5-0 defeat at Sunderland.
4 for both.
Yay.
4-0. Come on.
Up the Tigers.
Up the Tigers. Ta-ta, everyone.